Hi everyone, I am Aaron Lay and you are listening to Dragonflies, the Dividend Investor, the podcast of the most profitable hour of the day. This is the podcast where we help you build the dream life that you want, one dividend payout at a time. And so in each episode, we are going to break down stories, strategies, or habits that will help you build a lifetime of passive income. So whether nagsisimula ka pa lang or you are already a seasoned investor, I'm sure may mapupulot ka sa podcast na ito. Actually, today's episode is quite different. Most people kasi live paycheck to paycheck. So, di mo alam in a month from now or maybe a few weeks from now if may work ka pa or wala, right? But the person seated beside me had the courage to step away from the corporate world. And I mean, syempre, obviously, there are fears and anxiety, anxiety yun, right? But she was able to do so. And not only does she invest in dividend-paying stocks, she was also able to design her whole life around it. So, Trina, welcome to the Dividend Investor Podcast. So,
Hello everyone. Hello Aaron.
Trina, kumusta ka naman today? How are you doing?
I'm good. Very excited for today. Ang dami kong gusto i-share.
All right. Actually, very excited din ako to learn from you, right? So, let us jump straight into it, Trina. I mean, you had the courage again to walk away from your corporate job, right? What was the first day like when you quit? And like, how did you feel?
Funny yung timing nun kasi sumakto sa pandemic. So, nag-lockdown. And wala akong backup na job offer. And the stock market was wrecked. So, I rode the wave na nag-start din ako ng food business at home. Yan yung Taco Bomb MNL that you guys will see sa profile ko.
Shout
And
out, baka you want to plug Taco Bomb MNL. Ano yung handle? Wala.
ayun, at Taco Bomb MNL. Yan. Makikita niyo yun sa Facebook profile ko na founder of ganyan. And it was doing well. Like, kumikita ko mga 50 to 80K per month doing that. And then, nung 2023, nag-normalize na everything. Then, I went back stock market kasi there's money to be made na ulit.
What happened ba during 2023? Like, how come you said na there's money to be made in 2023?
Well, tapos na yung mga lockdowns natin. Tapos na yung mga GCQ, ECQ, yung mga ganyan. And parang, yeah, nag-normalize na everything. People were going back to the malls, diba? The people were going back to work.
Actually, just a follow-up question, Trina. You mentioned how you started as a business and it was one of the ways that sustained you after leaving corporate then, right? So, any rough numbers on how much you were making that time from this business?
It was making around 50 to 80K per month. So, more than enough para itawid yung bills. And ang maganda doon, since I started it at home, walang rent. Kasi for a lot of businesses, rent talaga yung pumapatay sa mga businesses.
Later on, we'll talk more about this, right? But then, aside from the business that you have, no, like the recurring money that you get from your business, are there like any supplementary sources of income pa that you were getting during that time?
At that time, yun talaga yung naging focus ko. Kasi, again, the stock market was not doing well. Diba? Maraming prices bumagsak ng pandemic. So, on hold muna yun. And I really focused on that muna. And that really became my ticket out of corporate din.
Okay. And parang at that time, you were also doing trading and investing, right? But then, between the two, ano nga ba yung nauna? Like, is it trading or investing?
I think like many others, I started as a trader then. Kasi hindi pa uso yung mga dividends before. Yung first stock ko nun was si Ayala Land. And I had beginner's luck. I didn't know what I was doing. Bumili lang ako ng Ali. And yun yung first tikim ko of capital gains. So eventually, I learned from various mentors. And yan, with the advent of REITs noong 2020, starting with A-REIT, minaliit ko pa si A-REIT nun. Sabi ko, 5% return, ang liit naman. Mas malaki pa yung kikitain ko sa trading. Jokes on me kasi right now, yung mga nag-invest kay A-REIT tong IPO at 27 pesos, they're already getting mga 8% dividend yield. Tapos more than 50% na yung capital gains nila. But I was able to get in sa A-REIT nung nasa 32.87 pesos siya, yung average cost ko. And that was the start of my snowball fund.
Yeah, I think that's a very good take, Trina. Kasi kasama na ako dun sa people who underestimate the low payout that you get from dividend stocks before. Eh. But I think what a lot of people don't realize is that these dividends grow over time. So kunyari, kung nabili, as you said, kung nabili mo sa A-REIT at a cheap price back then, maybe baka back then 5% yung yield, di ba? Pero now, tumaas na to like 6-7% and umakyat pa yung price. So in the end, parang people could really make money out of it.
Yeah, and yun yung maganda sa equities or sa stocks. Kasi unlike fixed income investments na you're at the mercy of interest rates. So pag pababa na yung interest rates, pababa na rin yung mga kikitain mo. But dito sa stocks, posible nga na growing yung dividends mo.
I see. So how did you transition into dividend investing? You mentioned to us na you started with A-REIT, right? Kasi during 2023, correct? Na you told us na it was quite attractive na yung prices. Parang how did you transition? Is it biglang nilipat mo lahat or partial lang? How did it go?
Rather than transition, yung Snowball Fund was something I added on top of my trading fund. It was just clear as day to me na yun na yung time for passive income investors kasi nag-peak yung interest rates natin to 6.5%. So just for the viewers, kapag nangyayari yun, kapag tumataas yung interest rates, from yung big institution money or the hot money, it exits yung stock market and it goes to the fixed income securities para mas safe, relatively safe. Because of that event, ang daming REIT prices yung bumagsak. So if you would look at yung stock prices ng mga REITs, for example, ang dami sa kanila bumagsak nung late 2023. And for me, that would have been one of the best times to have started accumulating REITs. And true enough, kasi yan, since pababa na ulit yung interest rates ngayon, parang bumabalik na ulit yung hot money sa stock market. So tumataas na rin yung mga price.
Yeah, ang lalakas nga ng mga REITs and dividend-paying stocks like A-REIT, RCR have rallied a lot already.
Yeah.
And I liked what you said as well na nang nalaman mo na nag-peak na yung interest rates here, parang kung isipin ng mga audience natin is you have, for example, the bonds here and then you have stock market here, right? So kunyari yung bonds mo that time is like 5-6% yun yung tok-tok, di ba? And then it's falling down to like 5, 4, 3, for example lang. But the stock market, the yield that you get from the stock market is up here pa, like 8%. So you see this money flowing to this money, right?
Yeah. And that's was also the time na I started being a content creator nung April 2024 lang. Kasi I wanted more people to be aware na, uy, ito na yun. This is the time to be a passive income investor. And in fact, yung first na nag-viral kong video was teaching people about the Juan Tamad Jr. investing. Tapos yung ginamit ko pang yield nun was 8%. Kasi ang dami talaga mga 7 to 8% returns at the time.
What stocks are we talking about here? Like any sample dividend-paying stocks?
It's yung usual top REITs natin. Like sila A-REIT, M-REIT, RCR. Yan. Kasi the lower the stock price, mas tumataas yung dividend yields. So, at the time talaga, ang daming mga 7 to 8% options.
Actually, ngayon meron pa yata. Like PLDT and then Globe, right?
Yeah.
Close to that number.
Yeah.
So you see now when the BSP continues to lower down interest rates, parang there's really upside potential for PLDT and Globe to go up even though hindi ganun ka bilis yung growth ng earnings nila.
Yes.
Okay, so Trina, correct me if I'm wrong, but then now that you are a full-time dividend investor and then you did trading on the side and together with the side business, you were able to hop out of corporate world, right? But then, nakakatakot kasi, di ba? How did you build the confidence or where did you find the courage to actually do it?
Totoo yung sinabi nila na when you want something badly enough, gagawin mo talaga lahat to get it. And student pa lang ako, malinaw na sa akin na passive income yung gusto ko. Na that is the life that I want to build for myself. And I had to outgrow so many versions of me to be where I am today. Kasi my friends know this, but kung kilala mo ako before, I was the quiet kid, takot akong mag-public speaking, camera shy ako. But I had to outgrow those versions of me. And I had to learn, di ba? I had to learn accounting, finance. I had to learn how to sell, all of those essential skills to be the solopreneur that I am today. So what worked for me was not being loyal to versions of me. Kasi di ba minsan may tendency tayo na, ganito talaga ako dapat tanggapin mo na lang ako. To be a passive income investor, parang you have to be constantly evolving. So yun, that's what worked for me.
Parang what you're saying is dapat you're quick on your feet, right?
Yeah.
And what's nice about you as well is for sure you're a full-time passive income investor or dividend investor, pero you're not afraid to pursue other things as well. Kasi actually, this is what I would like to clear out din. Na minsan, I feel like people find it na parang pinagyayabang nila na I do it full-time investing or trading, ito lang talaga. Alam mo yon na parang nakakagaling siya because you do it like ito lang. But you're not afraid na to do other things as well to supplement your dividends, right?
Yeah. And a lot of active traders I know, sila din may mga other sources of income din sila. Kasi what we want to achieve is layers upon layers of protection. Yung hindi, yung sobrang dependent tayo sa isang market. 'Di ba? Kahit the Philippine stock market. Kasi it's not all the time na there are good trades to be made. So, yeah, it's really about risk management pa rin. And for me, what works din is, the reason I'm able to do this is I did the math. Okay, kinompute ko everything, monthly expenses, how much capital I need invested. And when you do the math, yan yung confidence eh. Andyan yung sistema na sinasabi. Kasi if you're just relying on vibes, then then hindi sustainable yun. And that's how people gamble.
And actually, like as you said, like having these layers, I think those are beneficial pa nga eh. Because when you have them, right, during bad market conditions, it's easier for you psychologically to take on losses, like unrealized losses. So tapos, not only that, but then you have more capital pa to put into the stock market. So Trina, you mentioned about having these multiple layers, right? May I ask ano yung multiple sources of income mo ba aside from your dividend portfolio?
Biggest layer ko, yung first layer ko talaga, it's my trading fund. Okay, so any gains that I make, yan yung ginagamit ko to pay the bills for life enjoyment, and nilalagay ko rin dun sa dividend fund. But when that's not okay, I have my business income, I have my coaching sessions, I have my sponsored classes. So, ang dami kong layers of defense. Okay, and at the very end of it is the dividends fund. Okay, yun yung last line of defense. So since I have all of these layers covered, hindi ako at the mercy of the stock market then, hindi rin ako at the mercy of my food business, of my content creation business. There's really no reason for me to go back to corporate and to go after yung paycheck kasi I have all of these working well for me.
You mentioned how the dividend fund is the last layer. Yun yung pinaka-stable, right? Ibig
Yes.
sabihin, yun yung pinaka-maaasahan mo during times of uncertainty or times of need, right?
Yes. And yung dividend fund ko, it's already making mga 15,000 pesos per month. To be honest, that's more than enough to pay yung bills ko.
May I ask like a follow-up question din doon? Like, when you say bills mo, like what are we talking about? Ano ba yung bayarin ni Trina when it comes to bills?
If I'm going to give it a number, I would say mga 40,000 pesos yung bills ko. Kasi I have the advantage na we own our home, so hindi kami nag-rent. I know rent kasi yan yung kumakain sa paycheck ng mga tao. And I'd say mga 15K for electricity, 20K for water, tas siguro mga 5K for electricity and water and whatnot.
Do you pay for it alone or are you splitting it with someone? Kasi you mentioned na you're staying with your family still, right?
Yes.
And which I think is a really good thing kasi you get to split your expenses, tama ba?
Yes. I'm not ashamed to admit na I do live with my parents kasi it's strategic eh. Because of that, it allowed me to build all of these assets without worrying kung mababayaran ko ba yung rent or not.
And the more money you save, the more money you can put into your dividend portfolio, tama?
Yes. Yes, that's perfect. And sa house namin, 4 kaming nag-split sa bills. So imagine mo, 'di ba, if you do the math, 40,000 na monthly expenses, 4 kami naghahati.
10,000 na lang.
Then it becomes so much more manageable. Isa sa core advocacies ko is really teaching people na magtulungan kayo ng family nyo. Hindi naman kailangan sinosolo natin lahat ng problema sa buhay.
Actually, some people I know na nag-split din ng bills. Minsan, ang strategy din nila is like, kunyari, di ba 15,000 yung Meralco? Parang hindi sila hatian dun sa 15,000. Parang ang mangyayari is, kunyari, 15,000 si person A, siya yung magbabayad ng Meralco. And then yung isa naman sa car payment, kumbaga may kanya-kanya silang binabayaran. So not evenly split between the four. And then parang nangyayari is kung sino yung malakas mag-aircon or gumastos, siya yung magbabayad ng Meralco. Something like that.
Yeah.
So they can always do it like that then as well, right? Hindi
Yeah.
naman kailangan strict to the middle.
Yes, family care is a shared responsibility. So if there are able-bodied adults sa family, walang reason na isa lang dapat yung breadwinner. Kailangan lahat nag-aambagan.
And that's obviously a lot easier for everyone in the household.
Yes, it's made everything easier and more manageable for me and my family.
Which I don't think is being talked about like frequently. Minsan to the point na tabu pa nga pag-usapan yung how do we split the bills, right?
Yeah, and ito, something I learned din from the rich, sila normal sa kanila magtulungan, especially pagdating sa mga business, corporate matters. But for a lot of middle class, I come from a middle class background din, it's usually, I have family traumas, mostly puro ganun yung narratives, how much they hate their families. But if maging objective tayo, everyone in the family is a resource. Okay, na pwedeng magtulungan, then a lot of opportunities open up for people. Okay, nawawala yung excuse na, wala akong pambayad sa ganito. And everything becomes really more manageable.
It's not with Filipinos kasi yung pagiging prangka, alam mo yun. So it's not easy to talk about. But actually moving on, Trina, when you left corporate, was there anyone from your circle who didn't understand the decision you made? Meron ka bang na-feel na pressure from society?
Yes, may mga galit sa lifestyle ko, pero mas marami yung supportive and even think it's life goals. 'Di ba? The world was made for you even if the world doesn't revolve around you. So ganun kasi ako mag-isip. Kaya doon ko nahuhugot yung audacity ko lang. Na this is how I want to live my life. So gagawin ko lahat to make that happen.
Your parents were supportive din naman. Kasi usually, di ba, when people do full-time investing / part-time trading as well, parang tingin is tambay sa bahay. Di ba, that's the label that they use, right? But in your case, you don't get to hear that naman.
As long as I pay my share sa bills, we're good.
Quiet na lahat.
Yes.
Oo.
Wala kaming kailangan pag-usapan.
Okay, but then during that time, syempre hindi naman yan lahat very smooth and steady ride, di ba? So, were there times that you second-guessed your decision? Na parang naisip mo na, maybe full-time investing and trading is not for me. Maybe I want to go back to corporate.
I did entertain yung thoughts na sa level and depth of yung experience ko, both as an employee and as a business owner, I think I can land yung mga 6-digit na jobs. But then naisip ko din, why not use all that, yung gifts and talents ko to build something, to build myself or something that's mine. And what ultimately kept me from circling back sa ganong thoughts was how present I could be for my friends, my family, and yung loved ones ko. Kasi yung first experience ko sa corporate was sa sobrang pagod at puyat, hindi na ako nakakapunta sa mga social events. Yan. And I think there is no amount of paycheck that can really replace yung the freedom to decide na I get my rest days during Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay, so you mentioned yung mga hirap na pinagdaanan mo during corporate, right? But then what was the most difficult part of doing full-time investing and trading?
The best thing about modern investing is how boring it is. Kasi hindi na totoo na kailangan mo tutukan yung mga investments mo eh. Like yung dividend fund or what I call yung snowball fund. It's like a tortoise, di ba? Gagapang at gagapang yan kahit hindi mo tutukan as long as the economy is okay. Pero even sa trading, di ba may mga stop limits and conditional orders na ngayon. So kailangan marunong ka lang magplano, then you let your broker app execute your trades, then okay ka na. So I guess the hard part was really trying to fill up my days with worthwhile times, with worthwhile activities. Kaya rin may time ako to create content.
And having a dividend portfolio puts your mind at ease talaga din, right? Now you have that's your quote-unquote parang fallback, di ba? Whenever things go wrong.
Yes, yan yung, I call it the de-risk. Diyan ka pwede mag-de-risk. Okay, kasi the more that you understand the math behind dividend investing, yan yung strategy na wala kang talo eh. Whether tumaas or bumaba yung stock prices, panalo ka. Okay, as long as you do your due diligence na nababantay mo earnings ng company. Pero yan, kasi di ba yung dividend returns mo, it's your cash dividends divided by yung stock price. So, the more pa bumababa yung stock price, na-excite ka pang bumili kasi you get to lock in higher yields.
Okay, you mentioned doing this full-time. Sometimes medyo mas nagiging boring pa nga, no? But then actually, that's one of the problems that I always see as well. Pag bored ka, and then you check out the market 100% of the time, parang pag tinignan mo, parang pag nakita mo, lahat gumaganda eh. Alam mo yun? Like, nakakakati talaga ng kamay. And so, what were the tips that you could give para maiwasan yun?
You're right. Kasi even sa snowball fund ko, mga 5 out of 6 stocks doon, double digit na yung capital gains. Di ba? Compare it to my passive income return na mga 7.8% per year, kakatiin ka talaga. But yung hack ko lang to stay disciplined is Totally hiwalay talaga dapat yung passive income fund or yung snowball fund sa active trading fund. Kasi magkaiba yung math behind them. 'Di ba? Passive income, you just let it grow. 'Di ba? For example, yung REITs, may mga plano yan until 2027 or 2030. Parang it's premature kapag mag-exit ka kaagad kasi there is no assurance na bababa ulit yan sa cost kung kailan ka nag-enter. Similar to how a REIT hindi na ever bumalik sa 27. And yung trading fund naman, ito kasi buy low, sell high. Okay, dito, yung execution mo, kailangan respetuhin mo yung stop loss mo kapag bumaba yung price. So dun pa lang, magkaiba sila. Kaya dapat talaga, totally hiwalay yung passive income fund sa active trading fund.
So I like what you said as well about separating these two types of funds, right? Like meron ka dito yung dividend fund mo and then you have this your side trading account as well. And I think this is where Dragonfly's multiple accounts come in as well, right? Kasi isang broker, isang account ka lang, pero pwede kang gumawa ng multiple portfolio. That's like, as you said, like one is for dividends, and then one is for your mga side trading, ganyan. And et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, sobrang perfect na nung multiple accounts ni Dragonfly.
Okay, so Trina, when you left corporate pala, what do you think is the main thing that people have to consider? Or for me, kasi parang it's really important that you know how much are your expenses eh. Di ba? Kasi syempre, it's one thing to do it full-time, pero kailangan realistic tayo, di ba, in doing so. So did you have to compute your monthly expenses first before doing it full-time?
Yes, very important na aware tayo sa monthly expenses natin kasi yan naman yung reason why we get jobs in the first place. In fact, people who are not mindful of their monthly expenses, yan yung nagiging prone talaga to lifestyle inflation. Yung, let's say, nag-increase yung salary, so in-increase niya rin yung lifestyle niya. So yung net returns is just the same. Parang paycheck to paycheck lifestyle pa din. Yan, na-share ko kanina na I try to reduce my monthly expenses as much as possible. Okay, starting with family. Kasi 'di ba apat kami naghahatian sa bills. So it's more manageable for me and my siblings to focus on our goals. Kasi yun naman yung point. Just for transparency's sake din, when you're at a point na millions na yung kaya mong i-invest, yung mga 6 to 8%, it will already start to feel powerful. And mapapansin mo, uy, parang kaya na nga talaga bayaran yung kuryente, yung tubig, yung internet. Just to set expectations, it took me a decade to build this. So even though I started becoming full-time at 28, if you think of the fact na nag-graduate ako at 18 years old, that's still 10 years in the making.
It didn't happen overnight.
Yes, it doesn't happen overnight, especially for yan, mga middle-class people.
For our audience watching, if kaya din ba nila, what are the things that they have to consider para masabi nila na kaya ko rin yan?
Okay, first is your monthly expenses kasi that is the number to beat. Diba? When you are earning much more than your monthly expenses, then you're okay. And if you're the sole breadwinner sa isang family na may other able-bodied family members naman, then pwede kayo magtulungan. 'Di ba? Kasi there are people who like to play Superman na ako na lahat. Pero that also doesn't give people the opportunity to step into their greatness na nakakapag-contribute din sila sa family. So yan, that's for sole breadwinners. Number 2 is yung capital. Okay? Kasi investing is money working for you. And the more of it that you have to invest, mas malaki din yung kaya niyang ibigay sa'yo. So what I like to say is, imagine mo trabahador yung pera mo. If 10,000 yung meron ka to invest, kaya ka bigyan niya ng mga 100, 200, 500, 1,000, ganyan. Pag 100,000, yan, kaya na 10,000, 5,000. And kapag millions, di ba, kaya ka bigyan ng 50K, 100K. So, the bigger yung capital mo, mas malaki din yung returns. And you don't need billions. Okay? You just really need to have enough. And third, yung most important is meron kang trading and investing system that works for you. Not everybody can be traders like me, but everyone can be passive income investors. Okay, so dapat clear lang and na-test mo na yung system paulit-ulit na it works. So magkaiba yung sa trading, magkaiba din yung sa dividends investing.
What struck me with what you said, Trina, is that there's no shortcut to go about this. Basically, the money flowing in, you have to grow it. The money flowing out, you have to minimize it, correct?
Yes. And totoo yung sinabi nila. So nakinig lang din talaga ako sa mga adults when I was as young as you guys. Na sabi lang nila start early. And it's true eh. The earlier you start, and I started when I was 18, di ba inaaral ko na. But I really started nung nakaipon na ako sa first job ko and I started with 50K. And then that's the point na you have to be smart about money na.
Yeah, kasi I believe the decisions you make early on, like as young as you can be, it's really, para may compounding effect din siya in the next 10 years or 20 years. Like, one small step could mean a lot in the future, right?
What they say na kapag ngayon ka nagtanim, hindi ka ngayon
A harvest.
harvest.
It's in the future pa.
Oo.
Okay, actually, Trina, let's now move on to budgeting, right? I mean, despite you having like multiple sources of income, like your dividend fund, etc., how important did budgeting come into play?
When it comes to budgeting, ang nag-work lang talaga for me was yung sinabi ni Warren Buffett. Yung you do not save what is left after spending, you spend what is left after saving. It means from the gains of your trades and investments, dun ka lang mag-work. That way, hindi mo sinusunog yung capital mo. Kasi ang tagal mong pinaghirapan yan, that's precious time na hindi mo na mababalik. Yan yung the extraordinary framework na tinuturo ko. Kasi, di ba, kapag walang intervention like us na tinuturo natin sa mga tao mag-invest, paycheck to paycheck lang yung mga tao. Di ba? 1 year mong inipon yung 100K, that's enough for a trip to Japan maybe. So, kapag ginastos mo yun, back to zero ka. When you do that, when you budget only from the gains of your trades and investments, you get to keep your 100K, pero nakakapag-enjoy ka pa rin. So, hindi mo kailangan mamili, mag-enjoy ba ako or mag-iipon. Kasi pwedeng both.
So what you're saying is instead of spending the whole 100K to like Japan, you put that 100K to work first. And then, for example, that 100K, nanganak siya ng 10,000 pesos in a year, like 10%. That's what you use to, for example, go to La Union, ganon, enjoy a night there, etc., right?
And it's true, kasi even ako, my friends also know this. Hindi ako nag-travel agad-agad when I was younger. In fact, I started traveling internationally mga 2023 lang. So may delayed gratification din.
Traveling is no small money. I mean, malaki talagang gastusin yan. And thinking about how you can just grow that money into the stock market or dividend stocks, mas maganda talaga siya in the long run, right?
Yeah. And because I started early, di ba, I'm just entering my 30s this year, parang I'm okay. I can do whatever I want with my time. So, yan yung hina-harvest ko na yung tinanim ko years ago.
Trina, any budgeting hacks that you have for our audience today watching?
I guess this is applicable for people na nagsisimula pa lang sa careers nila. Kasi the advice you will get is, unahin mo yung insurance mo, unahin mo yung emergency funds. And totoo naman, tama naman sila. It's important na may emergency funds. It's also important na insured tayo. So what ends up happening is, hinuhuli na ng mga tayo investing. That's why a lot of my coaches, mga 40 years old, 50 years old, or near retirement na. Okay, but if you think about it, let's say unahin mo yung dividend fund. And let's say after 5 years, nakaipon ka, let's say mga 500K. Diba? At 7% of 500K, that's mga 35,000 pesos. Or mga 2,916 per month. And if you think about that, parang that's enough to pay for insurance premiums. Okay? Depende sa policy. Okay? And so, diba, hindi siya yung parang, kasi kapag unahin mo yung insurance, sunk cost yan eh. Hindi mo mababawi. Awas yan sa paycheck mo when that could have been money working for you. Okay, so kung unahin mo yung dividend fund and nakapasok siya sa stocks, kasi maganda yung stocks, it's very liquid. It only takes a maximum of 2 days, di ba, to withdraw. So, pwede rin siyang starting emergency fund. Okay, but it doesn't replace yung actual cash on hand ka for very immediate emergencies. So, yan yung it's a good way to be resourceful.
Yeah, and just to add to what you said lang, I mean, some people kasi, ang gusto talaga nilang investments lupa eh, right? When you invest in real estate or land, it's very illiquid. Like when you want to sell, you have to undercut everyone else just so that you can sell in time. Tapos, not to mention the legalities of things as well. Like very hassle to do all the documents, right? And not to mention all the taxes that you have to pay.
Yeah. With stocks, it's just nasa app mo lang everything.
And just 2 days lang, you get to have your money back na.
Yeah. But also very unpopular pa rin yung stock market kasi wala pang 2% ng population eh. But if more people knew na ganito siya, pwede ka sa dividends, then I think mas mabubuhayan yung market natin.
Because there's a very wide array of risk sa stock market. Which I think people, when they think of stock market, parang ito risky lang. Pero in reality, it's like a wide array of, like a wide spectrum of risk. Diba? Meron kang dividend-paying stocks, meron kang all the way to basura stocks, right?
Tama. And yung lagi nilang sinasabi is yung stock market pang aggressive lang yan. So yung mga passive income investors, nandun lang sila sa treasury bills, time deposits. Ngayon na may 20% na yun, it's more expensive now to invest in those digital products. Ang di nila alam, dito sa stock market, you can also be a conservative investor. Kasi yung dividends, again, kung gets mo yung math niya, wala kang talo. Kapag bumababa pa yung prices, as long as okay yung earnings ng company, then tumataas lang din yung returns mo. Okay, whether stock prices go up or down, susweldo at susweldo ka.
Yeah, and just to add to what you said, kaya pag sinasabi mo na maganda bumili ng stocks at a discount, I think one of the best ways to do it as well is during market downturns. As in, pag lahat bumababa, I think that's a good way talaga to catch those fundamentally sound stocks that you like. So may listahan ka na dapat of the stocks that you like. Para pag lahat sila sabay-sabay bumaba, you just buy, di ba?
Tama. And you need to familiarize lang kung sino yung stocks na maganda magbigay ng dividends. Kasi it only makes sense to average down on stocks na you're investing in them for the dividend yield. Kasi pag bumababa yung stock, tumataas yung returns mo.
So I really admire you, Trina, for doing this full-time, right? But then I'm sure our audience are curious kung ano ba yung strategy na dinedeploy mo to your dividend fund, right? Are you focusing more on high growth or yung mga matataas na agad yung returns or dividend yield?
Okay, ito yung criteria ko. Number 1, the more frequent the payouts, the more powerful yung snowballing power. Okay, kasi kapag, there are investments that pay you monthly, quarterly, twice a year, or once a year. So, a monthly gives you 11 opportunities to reinvest. Quarterly gives you 3, semi-annual gives you 1. So, dun pa lang yung snowballing power mo. Snowballing kasi is nare-reinvest mo yung proceeds back dun sa investment para nag-grow siya. Yung mga holdings ko, they're all either monthly or quarterly paying. Mostly quarterly paying. Number 2, I also care about the ROIs. Kailangan it's a mix of stable but growing and yung matataas. So, yung strategy ko, it's always a mix of REITs and cash cows. Kasi REITs, although the good ones, mga nasa 5 to 7% yung returns, with cash cows, mga 8% to 12%.
So cash cow, you mean cash cow as in these are like, they give out higher yield, di ba?
Yes.
Pangbayad mo sa stuff.
Yes, mga high yield stocks. I call them cash cows kasi you milk them while they last. So imagine a mix of those two sa portfolio mo. You get the possibility na nag-grow yung dividends mo, tapos nami-milk mo yung high returns nila. As a rule for myself din, if the net returns, kasi may 10% tax, tas mga 0.3% buying fees, if it's below 6%, nagpapasa ko dun. Okay, it has to be like 6% or higher.
I like what you said about earlier then you look for stocks that have a more frequent payout. Kasi, so parang for people to visualize, no? So for example, this is stock A. Stock A is paying, let's say, 6% per year. But then stock B is paying 6% pero naka-chop-chop to, let's say, every quarter, which is 1.5%. So since you get a more frequent payout from stock B, right? Nakuha mo na yung 1.5% mo ng quarter 1, you reinvested that. Nakuha mo na yung 1.5% ng quarter 2, you reinvested that. And so, in total, itong 6% mo, lumilitaw parang mga nasa, kunyari lang, 6.5%. Yes. Correct. And that small difference will do a very big difference long-term talaga.
Yeah, lalo na if you're playing with millions na. Ang laking difference nung...
Yung reinvesting that 0.5%. Okay, but moving forward, Trina, ano na ba yung current goal mo ngayon? Like, is there a number in mind or where are you heading towards?
For my dividend fund or snowball fund, yung first milestone ko is 60,000 pesos per month. So that's 10 million pesos invested with at least a 7% return. So once I have that, yan yung hakuna matata na tinatawag ko. Means no worries for the rest of your days. But I call it my initial target kasi open pa naman ako sa possibility na mag-evolve yung lifestyle ko.
And you also create content about teaching how others could get started in dividend investing as well, right? So what is the mission behind this, and like what made your content different?
We live in a time na, di ba, artificial intelligence is looming in the corner, maraming pwedeng mawala ng trabaho. Tapos you also get mga social media content creators saying na basura yung Philippine stock market. When in reality, I also did my own surveys. Ang gusto lang din naman ng mga tao is to be free. Na kahit natutulog sila, kumikita sila. I do want this to be more popular kasi I know marami akong pwedeng matulungan. Kasi, di ba, a lot of people are one job layoff, one medical expense away from poverty. Okay, lalo na yung mga middle class. Kasi for middle class people, ang daling mag-regress. Okay, mas mahirap iangat. So with my content, ang gusto ko talaga is to give people the blueprint on how they can, level up.
So Trina, you also create content to teach other people how to get started investing as well, right? So what's the mission behind that? Tapos what makes your style different?
We live in a time na pwedeng palitan ng AI yung trabaho ng mga tao and they're one job loss away from regressing in life. We also have a lot of Pinoys na mas may crypto pa sila kaysa stocks. And when you look at social media, puro active trading strategies kasi yung pinapauso. And for a lot of people na naghahanap buhay na maayos, hindi naman realistic sa kanila yon. And ang hindi nila alam, yung yaman ng stock market natin, nasa dividend stocks kasi. Like marami tayong mga 6% to 12% na stocks. And kung may politicians man tayo maabot with this message, sana alisin na rin nila yung 10% tax on cash dividends. Kasi ito talaga yung magtatawid sa mga tao to retirement.
Yeah, and actually Trina doing these type of content, no, advocating for dividend investing. This is mas pang everyone kasi siya, alam mo 'yun. Like it's hard to advocate na to do for people around us na mag-trade kayo. But then we can easily advocate for them to do dividend investing, right? Why do you think anyone can get started in dividend investing?
Dividend investing it's a very defensive type of strategy. Okay, it's low like a tortoise, but it's very defensive kasi 'di ba, like when stock prices go down, tumataas pa yung dividend yield mo. Nagkakaroon ng dividend floor effect talaga yung mga dividend stocks. Kasi
What's a dividend floor
a
effect?
dividend floor effect is kapag bumagsak ng sobra yung presyo, it becomes so attractive na it doesn't make sense for the price to keep going down. Marami ka ring protections in place. So number one, yung protection mo sa dividend investing is the math. Whether stock prices go up or down, susweldo ka. Okay, basta kumikita yung company and intact yung dividend policy. 'Di ba? For example, sa REITs, hindi ka magdududa na kung babayaran ka kasi guaranteed yan by law.
90% of what they make.
Yes. Pag cash cows naman or high yield stocks, medyo kailangan mo lang bantayan kung okay yung earnings, and kapag okay yung earnings, it's business as usual. Okay, and that only happens mga quarterly. Hindi siya yung strategy na kailangan tutok na tutok ka, like trading. Kasi trading yan, babantayan mo, paplanuhin mo. It's a fast way to grow your money, but it's not for everyone. But dividend investing, kahit sinong may extra money to invest, they can do it.
Okay, but one of the valid questions that I get then from people is what if they are living paycheck to paycheck? As in wala nang natitira. So how do they get started with this?
For me, yung mga ganito, posibleng hindi pa ready for investing. Kasi ang financial literacy, malawak yan. Okay, yung investing, it's one of the higher level skills pagdating sa umbrella ng financial literacy. But if I were that person na, let's say, yung paycheck ko is just napupunta lang lahat sa bills, number one, I would consider teaming up with my family. Yan, like yung sinabi ko kanina, if you can cut costs by half, let's say dalawa kayo magtulungan, di ba? That's already 50% saved for you. Okay, kung nagtulungan kayo sa bills. Number two, I would upskill and I would aim for a paycheck na 50% of my take-home pay kaya kong ipunin or i-invest. Kasi if not, okay lang naman to say na hindi pa ready to invest. Kasi investing nga is making your money work for you. And if you don't have money yet that can work for you, then upskill muna tayo.
Usually at first kasi what people can put in is the time, diba? The time to upskill, to build yourself, and then later on, that's when you slowly deploy more of your money, resources to do the work for you.
And people should give themselves 10 years, 20 years. Like, habaan niyo yung horizon. Kasi hindi naman siya overnight.
Yeah, it's something you build slowly. So actually, Trina, I really learned a lot from you. What I really like about the things you say are these are very practical lessons then. So any last words or final advice to the audience watching today?
For my final words, financial freedom is not cheap, but it's worth pursuing. And it can start with a prayer to God or to universe. And if you're inspired by my story, the life that I'm living now is a prayer I made many years ago. Then we align to our prayers, we do the work, and we do whatever it takes to get there. And lastly, know that you're not alone. You can also join my community of snowballers para may nakakausap kayo about dividend investing so we can all live a free life to Hakuna Matata and beyond.
All right. So thank you so much, Trina, for joining us today. And see you guys up until the next episode. Bye, everyone.